The City of Cape Town says it will go all the way to fight government if it attempts to take control of the Metro Police services. Amendments to the National Policing Act propose merging Metro and SAPS officials under the same directorate. For more on this, we're joined by Cape Town Mayoral Committee Member for Safety and Security, J.P. Smith. Mr. Smith, thank you very much for joining us. Perhaps if you could just remind us, for the purpose of a viewer who hasn't been following this, what actually the context is and why you are against it.
Morning, and apologies for the informal circumstances of the interview. We're at the Mayoral Committee with an on-site engagement here in Cravenby in Cape Town. So essentially what national government is proposing to do is to incorporate the control of Metro Police under the South African Police, under the National Commissioner, and under the Provincial Commissioner. And this would effectively mean that the municipalities continue to pay for the services of the municipal police force, but that the national government then effectively would have effective control, would set the operational priorities, and so forth. And this, we believe, is an example of the kind of constitutional mandate creep we have seen in many other regards, where national government is fairly consistently attempting to gain more power, to centralize the control of more functions, and that act of centralization is not in the interest of the public. It is in the interest of the public to have control vested as close as possible to them, the devolution of power as close as possible to the public, in this case in local government or even in provincial government. And in fact, we're saying quite the opposite should happen. At this stage, we should be removing SAPS from the control of national government and placing it under provincial or local control, as is the predominant international best practice.
Ms. Tina Jamaat-Peterson has said that the committee is calling for an existence of a closer and mutually beneficial relationship that will ensure a coordinated response to policing challenges in the city. Do you believe this is a misrepresentation of the truth?
Yes, ma'am, completely. I will tell you that we have an extremely close working relationship with SAPS. We sit on multiple coordinating fora, whether it is the Prov Joints, various joint operations centers through the festive season, during protest actions and otherwise. We have extremely effective coordination mechanisms. We've got former senior SAPS members who work for the city, who understand the cultures of both those organizations, and we, I would suggest, very often have a better communication between the Metro Police and our law enforcement and traffic and individual stations than those SAP stations have with each other. And that is in part because the modern police forces require a lot of digital and electronic support, technology support. So, for instance, we have a computer-aided dispatch system which ensures that complaints received are effectively monitored and acted on, and that there's accountability and effective resource management that's spatially enabled, that makes that a competent process. SAPS lacks such a system, and its systems are quite anachronistic and old, and it is not effective to take these Metro Police forces and place them under the control of national government when it is unable to modernize the systems that support SAPS effectively, and they're doing SAPS a disservice. You would drag the cities who are driving a lot of innovation into that less functional space. I think quite the opposite should happen, and it is certainly not true that there is not effective coordination between us. If you want to see effective coordination, the place to do that is to drive the technology conduits for which the whole Smart Cities initiative that local, provincial and national government is committed to is underway. That will achieve that digital coordination and effective coordination without having to make Metro Police forces subservient to national government.
Are you suggesting then, sir, that there's no way that you two can find each other, right? So in terms of also skills transfer, you speak of, a lack of being properly digitized on the part of the Metro Police. Is there no way that the city's law enforcement and the Metro Police can be integrated and perhaps for the best interest of people of the Western Cape, share skills, rather?
Yeah, no, I think that that's not what I was suggesting. I think that the digital solutions around Metro Police is by and large quite far advanced. Who is lagging behind is your national police service, who have not been effectively resourced by national government. And so I think that there are ample grounds for skills transfer. We see staff members from SAPS applying for Metro Police jobs continuously, and I presume the reverse is also true. There are ample training opportunities for such skills transfer. The city brings international trainers here. We invite SAPS and other Metro Police forces to those training opportunities. And if we all commit to the Smart Cities Initiative, which we have all, which was initiated by national government, if we all stick to that and we honor that process and we're sincere about it, we will achieve levels of coordination and integration that will achieve what the portfolio chair says, without the contrivance of having to place effectively run local and accountable and accessible local government run police services under the control of a national service that is increasingly unresponsive to the public and increasingly losing the trust of the public. And that we see in the surveys and engagements with the public that we conduct every day in terms of where the trust is and where it is not. And so we will be compelled to resist this legislation should it go to Parliament. We believe that this is a massive attempt by national government to exceed their constitutional mandate and an erosion of local government powers, and that those powers are very much in the interest of the public. It is in their interest to have a secondary option, that if there's a blind spot within your National Police Service, to be able to go to your Metropolitan Police Service and say, there's this bucket shop that is buying scrap metal that's causing cable theft, or there is this shebeen or gang activity which is not being addressed by SAPS. It's in the public's interest to have an alternative that can respond to that.
Thank you very much for your time. J.P. Smith is the Cape Town Mayoral Committee Member for Safety and Security.